to hear this talk.
Well, it's a
I'm
great
humbled
film.
by it.
It's a
Thank
great
you.
film. I mean, I just think
Thank
it's
you.
fantastic. And I was telling them as we were waiting for you that you did make a short film based on, a short film based on the concept first, and then later we were able to use that to catapult it to a feature. And some people might have more questions about that later. But I wanted to ask you, uh, first off, because I haven't watched the short. So tell me how you kind of encapsulated the story into a short,
Right.
and what was different about making a short film and making the feature version.
Got you. First and foremost, like once again, guys, thank you for having me here. It's wonderful to talk to this fabulous school, this beautiful faces of young people trying to make it into the world. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you're doing, I know it's hard. Keep pushing. Because what I can do and what I have done, everybody here is able to do what I have done and even better. I want to say that to y'all. So please take that to heart. So when I was at NYU graduate film school, I wanted to make a feature film for my thesis. And I had a script ready to go. It started off a different idea about time travel. It was something completely different from what we have now. But it was during the summer of 2013 when Eric Garner got murdered. Um, and and that bled into my script, my feature script. It bled into my feature script. And I took and a professor of mine saw that in a page. It's like there was a police brutality scene in that script. And she was like, Stefon, there's a police brutality scene in your movie. It's distracting. You either take it out or make that the story. And I was like, deal with time travel and Black people dying from the hands of law enforcement. We just keep seeing it over and over again throughout history. I remember Amadou Diallo. I remember Sean Bell. And before that, Rodney King. Before that, on and on and on, all the way to Emmett Till.
And way before him too.
And way before Emmett Till, unfortunately. And it's just this kind of images keep repeating. So you know what? That's a genius idea. I'm gonna make that the story and use time travel as a thematic device to say what I need to say about being Black in America, being Black in the world, period. And I went to my professors with the script, and it was March of that year. And then I told them at March, I said, I'm going to shoot this feature film in June for my thesis. And every one of them called me delusional. And I'm very glad they called me delusional because they were right. I was motherfucking delusional. And on top of that, all my previous short films that I've done before for school is not strong enough for me to make a feature film. It's not strong enough for me to use those as an example of my craft, and it wasn't strong enough to say to financiers that I could pull this off. So what they encouraged me to do is said, take the feature script that you have, and then turn it to a short film to use it as a proof of concept for that feature. And yeah, I hope.
Well,
Did I answer that?
so yeah, and what was the short? What was it just sort of one jump, or how did it?
Actually, no, the short was two jumps. It was very stripped down, but the short, but before I even got to the finalization of the short, I started to make it, the short film right on my own. I hired two producers who were friends of mine during that time, and we tried. I wrote something that I knew wasn't perfect, but I believe in my dream. I believe in the story, and I just want to hurry up and make the film. So we was trying to shoot it in that summer of 2016, no, 2015, that summer, and I failed at it because the producing was bad. The producing was bad. I fired them. I cried for a week. I asked my mom to pay my rent. And then she turns around and decides to refinance her home to help me with my dream.
Wow.
And and just to help me graduate, because because she's a firm believer in education. So she said, you need to graduate. And so, all right, cool. So here's X amount of thousands of dollars. Go, go make the move. And then Spike Lee gave me a grant through his production fund. But I remember, like, I cried for a week, but I believe in the story. I got back up and I, searched for a co-writer. Because what I learned the hard way is that I am better with a co-writer. Not everybody who is a screenwriter is really good solo. But I'm trying to be, but it's really hard. For me personally, it's hard to be a solo writer. So I found Frederica Bailey, and she helped me get the script to a much stable, way, because the first one was like six, seven jumps for a short film. She able to just get it down to 2 for the short film.
Yeah.
So it's 2 short films, two jumps in a short film. And we I feel like I'm trailing now. But yeah,
That answers
this is what I wanted to say about it. Sorry, this is what I wanted to say. Because of the writing of my co-writing and doing the short, I was able to figure out really what is the world of the story and who the characters are. So the short film strengthened the feature film, because when I went back to, after I did the short film and it became successful, I went back to my original draft of the feature script, because all the lessons I learned in that short, I threw that feature script out the window and we started from scratch again.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very strong in many ways. A lot of, in a lot of not so obvious ways too. Things like performance and things like two things that stood out in my mind, 3 things. Well, I'll focus on 2. 2 things that I imagine making a short film you don't think about so much, that I thought worked very well in the feature, are visual effects and music. Those are 2 things that I think are great in the feature, but are for a lot of young filmmakers aren't stuff that they're really thinking about. So how did you get into the jump of suddenly first off thinking about your visual effects going into the film, and what was that a big element in your short? And then
right.
Yeah.
No, first and foremost, for the short film, I knew I had a limited amount of funding and whatnot. So when I went into the feature film, I wasn't imagining getting Netflix backing. So I was imagining to do the same thing I did with the short. Right. And the trick is where, and it also comes into writing, is like when you write, you have to think like a producer as well. Not that I advise it, but sometimes you have to do it because you're trying to save money, and that comes always in the writing. So what I did was think about, okay, I want to make a sci-fi film, but I don't have all the money to make the sci-fi. So what can I do to only have a limited amount of that sci-fi element in my script, but the rest is just a bunch of people talking in a room or talking on the street.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only that little bit of sci-fi. And also on top of that, when I learned early on in filmmaking, sometimes the most powerful imagery is what you don't see, but it's through the sound.
Right.
So in the short, we saw the time jump one time, and everything else, the time jump is all off camera.
Right.
And the same thing with, when you have a gun, guns, like you see someone aim on the gun and you just cut to someone getting shot or something like that. So you don't see a bullet, you don't see the muzzle flashes and whatnot. Not that saying it works all the time, but you use it sparingly for very important moments. So that's what I did, and then I approached the same technique with the feature. But since Netflix got involved and they got Netflix money, I'll be honest, I was like, oh, I could do more than I can. Not too much, because I still use the same technique as much as possible. But it was like, wow, I didn't, I had struggled with it. I had help with with this the visual effects company, Hey Beautiful Jerk. Great boutique visual effects company in New York and Brooklyn. Great guys, you know, they do cheap stuff and whatnot. And we just, you know, I told them what my vision is. I made, you know, I did a deck. They did a deck. They bring it back to me, and I approve all, you know, all those elements. Let me see if I find something on here.
Yeah, I'll set it up so you can share your screen.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Look at find it. Let me see.
Stefon, can I ask how many drafts you ended up doing of the script before you got to a shooting script?
6 drafts before we got it in front of Netflix, and an additional 6 drafts while I was giving notes. And it took us about 2 years. Yeah, it took us 2 years to write it, and it took us 5 years to actually make the film.
Cool. Okay. Do you have something to show, or should we just go on another question?
Let's go to another question, and I'll try to find it.
Can I ask a question, Duane?
No. Put your name on the list.
Oh shit! I forgot there was a fucking list. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's what the list. I'm sorry, I jumped in ahead of the line. I'm a line jumper.
Oh,
we're going to bring up Chase. We're going to bring up Chase.
I got it. Actually,
okay.
I got it right here.
Yeah, go ahead and
check. So, sorry, Chase. You have to wait. Let me see. Share screen. Okay, cool. And share. All right, cool. So here's a presentation that Hey Beautiful Jerk did. Anybody can see this?
Yeah, looks great.
Okay, cool. You know, they say, hey, look, hey, there's a lookbook, version 5 of it, and
is this yours or theirs?
But this is Hey Beautiful Jerks. This is not mine. I cannot do all this stuff. So they was just giving demonstrations on some ideas of how the wormhole will look like. You know, I gave them an idea of, like, I wanted to feel like they're going through space. This is a wormhole, you're traveling through space and time. So what does that feel like to go through space? So I want them to see, when they're traveling through space, I want them to see galaxies. I want them to see stars. I want them to see planets.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, this is some of the demonstrations that they helped out. And then the glitches, we don't want the glitching on the characters themselves to feel like the stereotypical digital glitch. You know, what kind of other glitches they can have? Like, is it some texture to it? Is it wobbly? Is, you know, and whatnot. So, you know, very milky, motion, blurry start, all that stuff. And it took them for this shot. This shot, it was like, what, 15 seconds, maybe less.
Yeah.
And it took them about 3 to 4 months to pull this off.
Wow. And
we did a lot of discussion regarding it.
Well, and what you did, like you said, is you set that up in the first jump, and then you never had to go back to it because we knew.
Never had to go back to it. Yeah. So we had to sell it. We just let everybody see the magic of it. You know, we embellish it a little bit. Usually the jump is just like, a time jump is like this, like Back to the Future. But I did a whole bunch of embellishing and slow motion, and we did a robotic arm shot and everything that cost us $10,000 to do. You know, I was like, oh, that shit, and I was having a good time. You know what I'm saying? If you watch Back to the Future, the very first jump we saw, the jump was just like,
and he's back
like that. Yeah. But the way they embellished it was through a chase scene,
right,
to really get us hyped in for the time jump. So we don't have a chase scene for the first jump. So what can we do to really embellish it? And, you know, we use a robotic arm on it. We use very visual effects and whatnot. So I didn't do the visual effects me personally. We had to hire somebody to do it, and they directed the scene. Yeah. I told them what the idea is. You let them direct the scene. Same thing with stunts. Same thing with everything. The stunts are the ones who direct the scene, not the director.
Cool. I got Chase here. Then we'll be going through this list. Thank you, sir. Say your name.
Hi, I'm Chase. I'm a junior. I'm looking to be a director as well. Just want to say, really enjoyed your film. It was really.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
The question I had is, with this film, obviously you've got, you know, kind of a serious subject matter, but then you've also got kind of this fun, playful time travel element that's kind of, you know, reminiscent of Back to the Future, obviously, Michael J. Fox cameo and stuff. So I was just kind of wondering what it was like trying to kind of teeter between, you know, that kind of almost fun family movie lightheartedness and then the heavier subject matter that you're dealing with here. What was that like trying to balance it?
It's trial and error. Trial and error. When I first started writing it, and I shared with some friends that I trust, friends that people that you trust when you share your stuff, especially something that is sensitive as this. The first notes I got was like, "Yo, you're making light of the situation," because I was playing too much into comedy, and I was like, "Oh, that's not my intention." And of course, they know that's not my intention. So it's just like, let me go back and figure this out. And then I learned to scale back the comedy into something that's called humor.
Yeah.
There's a difference between comedy and humor. There's a lot of genres between comedy, and there's a lot of things with humor. When you're dealing with the heavy subject matter, you want to scale back everything as much as possible, just to make here's a comedy, you just want to make things as humorous, he needs to be here. You know what I'm saying? And also I learned, you know, during police brutality scenes or anything that mentions the main subject or main plot, there's no comedy. It's straight drama.
Right.
I had to learn how to do that. And all that took is trial and error. It's like doing table reads with actors, having, you know, people that I trust to give critical notes back, and knowing that, and they know what my intention is. You know, it's just listening and just trying different things and whatnot. So
well, I thought you did a really good
yeah
job of making it
Thank you.
enjoyable and you know, hitting to the heart too. So thank you. It was a good movie.
Thank you. And also having a Black woman as my co-writer helped too.
Oh, I bet. Thank you.
Frederica Bailey.
Okay, we're going to go to the group here. So Madison, why don't you jump on?
Hi, I'm Madison. I am technically considered a junior. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm technically considered a junior. I do want to be a writer, but my question is more on the cinematography side of things.
Whoa,
I noticed.
Whoa. Are you a writer or not?
I am a writer, but my question is geared towards the cinematography just because I thought it was really interesting how you did that.
Okay. I don't want, for the rest of the questions, I don't want to hear, I'm thinking about doing this. It's either you is or you ain't. And I want everyone, and I'm saying that not to get on you, Madison, but I just want want people to start using positive words, because words are powerful. Words mean something. When you speak them, you know, it would render through the universe and it give you the power to be who you are. So don't be too shy to say I'm a writer. And it's fine, you want to be a cinematographer too. That can coexist. But with my cinematography, I had my classmate Felipe Veradere, and he, you know, I trust him, you know, more than I trust myself with honestly with where to put the camera and you know, the look and the style, and you know, and we worked with each other before. He did a commercial shoot I did for NYU, and he did my thesis film, and I had to fight for him to be on my feature. And he was wonderful, absolutely wonderful, and we had a second hand to each other, so it's like a marriage. And you know, he knew my style. We watched movies together. You know, I told him what's up, and he gets it, and we planned, and I trust him, and he came up with wonderful ideas for it. And there were times where I didn't even know what to do next, and he knew. You know, some of the most amazing shots that you see in the film was you know, from his ideas. So, you know, directors, we call the shots most of the time, but you know, you need to be a good team. You know, you have, you know, even LeBron James needs some help. There was one time where there was two players on the court. You know, all the players was on him. He's going for the layup. He passed the ball back to his homeboy. He missed. Another his homeboy trying to catch it and it missed too. So your team is very important. You don't want them scrubs to get the championship ring. You know what I'm saying? LeBron needs help too. So choose your team like you're picking the fruit.
That's great advice. Thank you.
Madison,
Don't hire your friends.
Madison, did you have a specific other question about the cinematography, or just wanted to hear about that?
Well, he kind of answered it for me, because I was going to ask him like what prompted him to film it that way, but he did kind of answer that and said he didn't really call the shots that way.
No, I call the shots. I let the cinematographers know what style I want the film to be, but we work together with it. And the thing is like, director always call the shots. Let me be clear. But at the same time, the director has to be very collaborative, because the director has so much only so much in his well or her well, that you have to allow other people to bring something to the table. But the director is the one who facilitates the main artistry and everything. So don't get it twisted. The style, that we wanted was, okay, we want to film it a way that the kids or the teenagers would film it themselves. During any time you're alone with the kids, it's whimsical. But every time they're with the adults, it's filmed a certain different way. When they're alone, how would the camera move? How would that feel like? You know what I'm saying? The camera becomes, the use of the camera and the use of the artistry of the movement of the camera. We use that through the determination of who the characters are. Not what we think is a cool shot and whatnot. Because some of the cool shots come from how would a teenager would do it based on the characters.
No, that definitely makes sense. I appreciate your clarification.
Okay, let's go with Kinsey.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Kenzie. I am a senior and I am also a writer. My question is actually about the color choices in the film, because they really stuck out to me. The colors were just so vibrant, especially with like the costumes and stuff. It was just so gorgeous. And I noticed a lot of warm oranges and yellows, like even outside of the time jump stuff. And I was wondering, like, what was your thought process when picking that color palette for this film?
Once again, it comes to character, it comes to, what the world is. The world is set in Brooklyn in the Afro-Caribbean neighborhood of Flatbush. And growing up, there's 3 colors in the Caribbean neighborhood that I know of: red, gold, and green. Those are the Rastafarian colors. And mostly Caribbean people love those colors. So since this is about Caribbean people, I've told my production designer and my costume designer, the fabulous Charlize Antoinette Jones, those are the colors I want for the film. And if you notice in one scene, that you guys wouldn't notice, but even when it's one scene, when Eduardo is giving them the special chip in his bedroom, you will see the colors on their costume: red, gold, and green. Eduardo is gold. He opens the gold case, give him the golden chip. Red is for CJ, because she's fiery, and Sebastian is green because he's earthy and grounded. And all 3 of them make together for a team.
Awesome. I really love that. Thank you for sharing that with us.
No problem.
All right, we got one more person here. Let's see, am I muted? No.
Hi, my name's Zach. I'm a writer and director. I have a question about CJ and Sebastian. I'm wondering how old they were when you were shooting. And the follow-up question, well, yeah, how old were they, first of all?
Okay. The script is 16 years old. When I started working with them, Eden was 15, Dante was 16, and we shot them of age in the short film.
Right.
Cut to years later, they're 18 going on to 19.
Gotcha. So how was that working with, young teenagers, and what did you adjust in your directing to work with younger people?
I would never work with teenagers again. I love them. Nah, honestly, they're just like me, a newbie in the business. Well, Eden, she has been in the business longer than I have. She actually been in Annie, and gosh, she's been on that Netflix show with Lena Waithe. She plays the young Lena Waithe in Masters of None. It's very fabulous. Meadowlands. So she had some some experience, but we were all new, and there were moments of being patient with each other because we all learning at the same time. And it's basically one thing I wish I did to really help to smooth the process was being more prepared, and meaning that I broke down my script. Breaking down your script and knowing your script like the back of your hand is helpful. So when you talk to your actors, you know each character's spine, what they go through, this time, what they go see before, what they go see after, what is the arc of those characters. And once you communicate with your actors, it's a beautiful thing. And I didn't break down my script before I start shooting because I'm the co-writer, right? And I'm the brainchild. And I thought I knew everything. Clearly I didn't. Even though I wrote it, I should have done more homework. And I learned my lesson hard that way.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Hey, Duane, are we on the right list?
Excuse me?
Are we on the right list?
Yeah, we're on the right list.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Hey, we got sold.
Y'all gotta get it together.
There's another list going. You got two.
Well, I don't know what list you guys are on.
Well, there's a bunch of people on this group chat. I got Will, I got Taylor, myself, Ben Frazier, Olivia Martinez.
Yeah, those are all down on the road, man. We're getting to you. Hey,
He's doing every other.
Let's see, Saul.
Hi, I'm Saul. I'm a writer and a director, and I just wanted to ask you, how is it that you came to the decision for that ending where CJ goes back in time, one more time, and then it ends from there? What did you intend for the audience to take away from that ending?
Raise your hand. How many of you hate the ending? Oh, okay. All right, that's not bad. Well, I'll kick it back to you then. What is your interpretation?
I see it two different ways. I see it as her in this never-ending, infinite loop in her own personal hell, where she is forced to go back in time forever in an effort to save everyone. The second way I see it is that I'd like to think that eventually she does save Calvin and Sebastian, but it's going to take a little bit more time. I'm a bit of an optimist, but I wanted to hear what your thought process was there.
And based off of that, thematically, what do you think that means?
Thematically, I'm not sure.
That's fine. I'll tell you this. I've been working on the script for 5 years, right? And we're dealing with something that is a terrible thing that's happening in our community, and this as a country as a whole, and it's evident to what's happening again with Aubrey and Breonna Taylor and Elijah Coleman, George Floyd, and then there's protests happening. So when I wrote the script, I remember, like I said at the beginning of this, you know, Emmett Till, Sean Bell, Amadou Diallo. So when I was writing the script, if I didn't want to show, because I know what happens at the end of the script, but I didn't want to show her winning the day. Why? Because she wins the day, the movie ends, homeboy at home with his wife and children will be like, whew, that's great. Honey, how's the salmon going? I'm hungry. You know, and all's well ends well. I cannot have that. If I were to show her sacrificing herself to save Calvin, or another young Black person dies in the process for Calvin to live, I'm telling to my people, my Black people, that there is no hope for you. So essentially, her running to the camera and cutting to black is her running towards you, asking for help. Get up from your couch and do something about it. This movie is more than a movie.
Oh wow, yeah. I when you put it that way, that's fantastic. That just brings a whole new light to it. I think that's just great.
Thank you.
Fantastic. I love it.
Thank you.
Caitlin, great, and I love the ending personally. I mean, I got that when I saw it. It's like, that seems like it could be the only ending. Caitlin, are you there?
Oh,
Yes.
people cut. I had to cuss people out on Twitter for that. People didn't agree. Hi, Caitlin, how you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Oh, well.
Good. I was just wondering, what was your greatest like motivator or inspiration, either now or like when you were doing this?
That's a very good question. I had a mentor who believed in me. I had a mentor that knew that is sticking his neck out for me, so I can live my dream, and I can do what I need to do. You know, Spike Lee is no joke. He not only did he invited me to be one of his assistants on Black Klansman, but he also went to Netflix. One of the executives were not really responding to our request to see if it's really into the script. So he cut his head, went to the CEO of Netflix Film, and asked him for money, which was Ted Sarandos, and said, Stefon, I got you the money. He stuck his neck out for me. And I'm like, if Spike Lee can stick his neck out for me that way, I gotta work motherfucking hard. I gotta go in. You know what I'm saying? Like, mistakes is gonna be made, you know, that's all good. But I would fall 7 times, but get up 8 motherfucking times. And that takes one big thing, really, really one big thing. You know, what I'm about to say, it sounds very easy, but it's very hard to do. And it's very, very simple. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. That shit will go a long motherfucking way. And when you believe in yourself, the right people will come to you. And another big advice, if I can, is to look for a mentor. It might not be Spike Lee, might not be J.J. Abrams, you know, might not be Steven Spielberg, Casey Lemons, or Ava DuVernay, what have you. But look for a mentor that would, you know, no matter how old you are, you could be 50 years old, still look for a mentor, because there's people in this business that would teach you things that you don't know. That's very important, man. Very, very important.
My mentor.
I'll be more than happy to.
Come on up. We've got Normandy here. I guess you can say your own name.
Right. Hi, I'm Normandy.
Hi.
There I am. It's like a church, they have to raise the podium when I speak. But I'm an actress and director.
Nice.
And
Dope.
people were like, "What are you doing in the film program?" But I.
No, that's fine. That's fine. There's plenty. I know a lot of amazing actors who got into the film program, and they're good. So nah, don't do that. What's up?
Sure. I was in the senior projects class earlier, and you kind of touched on this a little bit, but for those of us who are very much on the creative side and are dummies when it comes to the producing side, what are some of the biggest things you learned about like securing distribution and stuff like that from Spike, as you were like locking down Netflix and things like that before going into production?
Once again, words have power. You're not dummies. Words have power. If you knew what you were doing, you won't be in school. So you're not a dummy. You're learning, and you're gonna make mistakes. Mistakes will happen. It's all about how you own up to it, get back up, and continue. So you're not a dummy. To answer your question, biggest thing I learned, man. I don't know. It's I know I could go so many ways with that question. It takes teamwork. It takes a team. You know what I'm saying? And a friend of mine, who's a classmate of mine at NYU, and now she's at a Fox Searchlight. She said, "Hey, a producer is really, really happy when they found a really good director that has a clear vision."
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're a producer, make sure you find a director that knows what the fuck they're doing. And if you feel like they don't, hint at them that they need to get their stuff together. That is not no joke, and everything else will fall into place, because the director is the one who obtains it's the leadership. They're the ones who everyone leans on the vision. The director is the one who got the vision. Everyone leans on that person. So make sure that if you find somebody who's director and they have great potential, make sure you push them to, because it takes a team, man. The producer is the one who goes out, the director wants who's crafting it and whatnot. And prepare, preparation meets opportunity equals success. Prepare. And that's what I did. I prepared my ass off because Spike came on to produce my film doesn't mean the work stopped. I got a lot more work to do, and it was in the stress was even higher because I now not only had to prove myself because I knew I could do it, now I had to prove him. Oh boy. So for you, if you're a producer, make the director prove to you that they can do it. And that's, just have them get to it.
Sure. Awesome.
Okay.
I hope that helps. I wasn't sure if I answered the question. I don't know.
I think she's happy.
What?
Okay, cool.
Okay, we have Will King online. Mr. King.
Hi, I'm a senior here at UVU. I'm in the screenwriting program. You mentioned before about working with your actors and like getting to know the characters and understanding each scene and all that. I was going to ask about a little bit about your technique of working with actors and finding motivations in a scene. How you went about doing that, how you went about finding what the scene was, and how you worked with your actors to find that.
I just, I reread it. I come prepared, already know what I feel what the scene is going to be, but I have to also be loose with being a tyrant, or I have to be loose being like, this is absolutely it. Because actors are a lot smarter than we tend to believe. They're extremely smart, and they're the biggest lie detectors. It's profoundly crazy how and they're, I'm intimidated by actors all the time, especially when I get to work with them. So when you go on, what I personally do when I go on set, I clear my head, even though I might prepare for the scene or whatnot. I clear my head. I said, guys, let's read it 2 times. Read the first one, read it dry, just read it straight through dry. And the second time, we go through it again. And then we figure out things and adjust. That's how I usually do it. And usually I ask them, what do you think the character wants? And if the character is not getting that, what does the character wants from this person? And if the character is not getting this for this person, what should they do or what they can do? And you'd be surprised what answer the actor would give.
Mm-hmm.
And usually sometimes the answer, or sometimes the actor would say, well, I don't feel like this character would say this, they will say something like this, or they will move, instead of just standing here, they will actually move to here. You know what I'm saying? If you vibe with them and play along, there'll be surprises. But of course, the trickiest thing is to remain the boss.
Right.
It's just like, okay, you did your thing, but no, let's do this, but you have to make sure that you give them a strong point of view on the reason why.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Not to take up too much time just on me, I just wanted to elaborate on that. Like, how do you instill the idea that, like, if you disagree with an actor's direction, how do you work with them on that without having to be like, no, I'm director, get back in your place?
No, it's never that. You articulate the reason why it doesn't work. You have to be very articulate. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it doesn't work because X, Y, and Z, or you know what, we could try it. Let's do it, but you got to trust me. It's not working because I'm reading it differently on camera. Mm-hmm. And let's just try it this way. And I had a lot of, most of the actors on the film say yes, they trust me 110%. So now I don't like that. Let's try something different. And they'll be like, okay, cool. And it comes down to casting. It really comes down to casting, because actors are, they want to please you. They want to make you happy. But there are times where actors, like, you got to tell them no, because it just doesn't work. And sometimes you can't articulate it, but you should. And hopefully they'll understand. It's a tug of war, push and pull. Yeah. But if an actor pushes back heavily, and they seem very adamant about it, be confident to listen.
Yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem.
Mr. Taylor, Klink, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Taylor Klink, and I'm a senior, and I'm also a writer.
And what's up?
So much of what I wanted to ask you, you already touched upon, but I want to thank you for coming out and doing this, because so much of what you talked about tonight was stuff that I feel like I really needed to hear.
Thank you.
And I guess one of my questions is, do you have any advice, as a fellow Black man, how to, make it and get your ideas out there, and make it work?
As from one Black man to another, brother, stick to your guns and be very specific to you. Very specific and proud of your culture that you put into the work. The more specific you are, and more unique and the more unique your voice is, the more universal it is. And because right now, a lot of people in Hollywood, they're looking for us and they want our voices. And I've been in the rooms enough to say that. At first, like years ago, they ain't happening. Thank God for Oscar So White. Thank God for Black Lives Matter movement. Thank God for Black Panther. Poor Chadwick, that's my boy. But don't be afraid to be very, very culturally specific to who you are, and to stick to your guns. And somebody says, well, I don't think Black people like your work because of X, Y, Z. Fuck them. Fuck them in the ass. Fuck them. Nah. Issa Rae had an issue with when she was trying to pitch Insecure. There was a white executive that said, oh, I don't think Black people are looking for this type of work right now. And look where Insecure is right now, one of the hottest television shows on the planet.
Oh, for real. Like all my family, they don't shut up about that show, man. It's huge.
Exactly. So, you know, just keep being you, man. Keep being you, brother.
And I got to say, Taylor's got a hot series that he's writing right now. So keep your eyes open.
Yeah, it's very similar thematically. So I initially wanted to ask you about, you know, balancing the themes with all the other elements, but it was very similar to Chase's question. And but yeah, I'm working on a series right now, and hearing this, like it's, you know, it's inspiring me. It's getting my brain moving. So thank you again.
No, thank you, man. Thank you. I'm humbled by this.
Thank you, Taylor. That's awesome. New person here. Hi, my name is Sam.
Hi, new person.
Hi. My name is Sam. I'm a senior. I'm a screenwriter. You spoke earlier here and in the class we were in earlier about the importance of getting a mentor. And your mentor is one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. I watched a ton of his movies as The Five Bloods was coming out, and he's one of my favorite filmmakers. So I was just wondering, like, how do you get one of the greatest filmmakers of all time as your mentor? How do you get anyone as your mentor? Were you nervous? Was he flattered? Was he annoyed at first? Like, because
I had to ask him. I had to ask that motherfucker 3 times for an internship. I was at Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, because Spike also went to Morehouse, so I went to his school, undergrad, and I let it be known throughout the campus that, yo, I want to be a filmmaker. And a very, very wonderful professor, Mr. Thomas, you know, he was partnering with Spike for a sports journalism program at Morehouse. And Mr. Thomas says, hey, Stefon, I know you want to be a filmmaker. Spike is going to be at King's Chapel showing Kobe doing work. You know, you should go there and introduce yourself to him. I was like, cool. You know, Spike is my Morehouse brother. I went to Morehouse. So we really have that connection. So anybody know Morehouse College is a historically Black college in Atlanta, Georgia, where Dr. Martin Luther King went, Spike Lee went, Samuel L. Jackson was one of the amazing historically Black colleges, along with Spelman College, Clark Atlanta University, and Howard University, Fisk, Tuskegee, beautiful colleges. I digress. I went to the screening, and I went up to Spike right after the screening. I said, Spike, man, I'm a huge fan of yours. I live in New York. I want to intern at 40 Acres in the Mule in Brooklyn. Would you mind if, you know, I could have an internship? He said, okay, cool. Here's my email. Send me your resume. I haven't heard shit from him. Next semester, I met with Spike again. He was at Clark AU showing Jesus Children of America, which is a short film he did. Went up to him right after that. I said, Spike, you remember me? He was like, nah. I was like, can I have an internship at 40 Acres? Here's my email. Send me your resume. Still haven't heard shit. Next semester, because, you know, Morehouse at the time didn't have a film program. And so we had a couple of my classmates meeting with the dean to see if we can start a film program at Morehouse. The dean invited Spike to come through and talk to us, and we would try to get him, you know, to be part of the program. And the dean asked for a donation of $4 million. Spike was like, $4 million? You're tripping, nah. And then we all showed him how to work. I showed him my work. Did a rinky dinky short film during that time. And, you know, after the meeting, he would say, you know, okay, guys, wonderful to meet you. Do the right thing. Talk to y'all later. And everybody know who Spike is. So he gets up, he rushes out after their meeting. I got up and rushed right after him. I said, Spike. He said, what up? This is my third time asking you for an internship. Hook a brother up. He said, third time, huh? I said, yes, sir, third time. Okay. Here's my email. Send me your resume. I said, this shit. Oh God, yo. But a week later, he hit me up. His office hit me up saying got an internship at 40 Acres and Mule that summer. And I worked my ass off there. And then I did pretty well, you know, because the other two interns got fired and I was the only one left. And I asked him for a letter of recommendation to NYU, and as soon as I got to NYU, I asked him to be my mentor. And then all my years at NYU, I continued to work for him, PA for him, just be in his face, and you know, and the rest is history. So persistence, perseverance, and believe in yourself goes a long way.
Cool, thank you. How are you holding up? 1, 2 more questions?
I'm fired, baby. Let's go. Give me all the questions you need. And I forgot to tell you. This. I forgot to tell you. For those questions that have left, ask any question you want. I am an open book. I'm very honest. I'm very blunt. If you want to know something, if it's something that's in contract, I cannot say, but you know, but I'm honest. So please don't be shy. Don't be too cute.
Okay, Ben Fraser is next.
I know I said that a little too late.
I was definitely before Ben Fraser, but I'll accept it.
Ben, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, so I'm Ben, and I am brand new here at UVU. I'm actually just doing a bunch of the prerequisites to get into the program. And so I just had a question about film school in general. It kind of stuck out to me that you went to film school, because I know that a lot of people in this industry, you know, it's not a requirement to get any formal education, you know,
it's not.
But and some people even prefer not to just get experience on sets and stuff. And so I was wondering if you had any advice of how to make the most out of film school and to use it to your advantage.
How to? That's up to you, honestly. What do you believe you need to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's a hard question for me to answer, because it's contingent on the person. Like, if you want to be a screenwriter, you got to write scripts. You want to be a director, you got to direct. You know what I'm saying? Bottom line, you need to be making stuff. You want to be an editor, beg your classmates to edit their work. That's how you get the most. And also lean on your professors that you love and trust. Not every professor is for you. I'll be honest with that. And that's my personal experience. Not bad mouthing anything, you know. Alex, I love you. I don't know you for one night, but you know, you have to put in the work. It's putting in the work and not complaining. You know, Floyd Mayweather, put in the work. Don't cry. Put in the work. That's how you make the most. You know what I'm saying? Figure out, ask your professors and figure out how to formulate a career plan for you right after. What do you need to do to prepare for that? You know, if you're a director, you need a reel. You're in film school, you have equipment. You know, utilize that. Put in the work. That's how you do it. And film school is not for everybody. I recognize that. Because once you get outside, people just want to make sure you're able to do, you know, that you know your craft. If you're a director, they want to make sure that you know how to direct the actors, that you have a voice, and it shows from the very first shot. That you have, like, very first shot, the very first frame. If people in the industry can tell, I'm not sure, like, oh, this is going to be fire, based on that first shot, and it's consistent throughout. And to get to that kind of skill level, you just have to keep creating work and keep failing, and you learn through your failures. I made about 6-7 films in film school. Only 2 or 3 of them were good. but I did what I love to do. I make sure every single film is something that I wanted to do in film school. I ain't trying to have it be influenced by what my professors think I should be doing, or what my classmates think I should be doing. I want to make sure I do it. And it's coming from me, and I did that, and I know what my mistakes are and what my strengths are, and also I'm trying to find my voice. And you're not going to find your voice in the first 3 films, maybe. For some, it worked for Kari Fukunaga, but it's not going to work for you. Maybe it will work for you. I'm not sure, but you only know it by actually doing it. So you gotta make the product and take your time with it. I'm not saying you should rush. Take your time when you do your work, y'all. The industry is going to be there with or without you. So take your time with what you're doing, but don't take your time, but don't waste your time. As Chadwick Boseman said to Lupita, take your time, but don't waste your time.
Excellent.
Awesome. Thanks. Super awesome answer to a really open-ended question. And I really liked the movie too.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man.
Okay, Stefon, I skipped Tanner here. Tanner, apologies. You are up.
You're forgiven. You're forgiven. I almost had to use the compound word. Hey, Stefon. I got a couple comments and then I got a question. One, I guess it's a couple questions and a comment. The comment is that I really like the use of reggae in the movie. You were talking about it in the other class. You're talking about how in Black culture, it's not just hip hop, it's reggae, it's gospel. I love that was in the movie. I thought that the reggae music brought a really good flow to a movie that was really tense. It helped it breathe. So I really loved that. It was nice to see reggae, as a musician, it was nice to see reggae in, that wasn't for party scenes. That wasn't for such shit. It was for hard work. They're scientists. And I thought that was really, really cool.
Thank you.
First question, is that a Black Star hat by chance? Like Mos Def, Black Star?
It's a bunch of things. First, Black Star by Mos Def and Talib Kweli, but also I'm a Black Star.
Right on. Yeah.
And it's also for Black Star Film Festival in Philadelphia.
Oh, cool. Okay, very cool. Look at that.
So it's 3 things.
Right on. I'm a big fan of Talib and Mos Def. Then my question is, what are you trying to do next? Like, what themes are you interested in exploring in your next projects?
Same thing, Black sci-fi, action adventure, thriller with, some kind of message or sayings, that the artist can take away from. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Yeah.
My next film I'm attached to is it's called Breathe. It takes place in a dystopian future where the earth no longer has oxygen. And there's a mother and daughter trying to survive, from people trying to steal their oxygen machine. And that talks about climate change. But, Black people in it.
Yeah, man.
They're the last Black people on earth.
And they can't breathe. Right on, man.
That says something. And
I'm
also,
excited.
I'm wrapping a deal on a major studio for a Black Indiana Jones film set in Ethiopia.
Dope.
So I'm working on that too.
Very cool.
And that deals with Black history as well, with colonialism in Africa and how Ethiopia is the only country that never been colonized.
Yeah, that's great. I like that. Going off that specific and unique, you're really tackling it head on. That's the first thing you're saying is the specific thing. I love that. Thank you for answering my question.
No problem, Tanner.
Okay, we got Brett Fernberg.
Hello, can you hear me?
We actually,
yes, sir.
Actually only have 3
Perfect.
questions left, so that gives you a sense of where we are. If you're good with that. Go ahead, Brett.
Perfect. Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate you making time for us. Yeah, I saw that the company that you're working with.
I appreciate y'all for making time for me.
Yeah, man, it's my pleasure. I saw that on your new movie. You're working with people that John Wick, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Thunder Road, Basil Iwanek, good guy.
My question is, what was the hardest part of sort of getting this movie to be made, and what did you learn? What were some of the best lessons that you learned so far? Also, what's your favorite movie?
The hardest lesson. The hardest lesson is not. I thought I was prepared, but I wasn't prepared enough. And there was just so many times that was evident of it. It's like, once again, breaking down your script, knowing what to say to your actors when you break down your script. When I mean break down your script, going scene by scene, knowing your actor's spine, knowing the before and after, knowing how to create tension and competition between two actors, one actor, what would they try to get from the other actor, and what that actor trying to get from that other actor, and it creates a good confrontation. And that takes practice and time as well, and also how to make sure to elevate the subtext, to make sure that every scene has when you're directing, this subtext coming from it, and that's through the confrontations. So I wasn't really prepared for that, and I wish I really was. And once again, I thought, I know the script because I wrote it. Wrong. So that was one thing, and also make sure you have a shot list for every single day. And we did that. Me and my cinematographer, we did that, and there was one day we didn't have a shot list. And a normal day on set is 12 hours. I think we all know that, right? Because our dumb asses didn't have a shot list. That day ended about 19 hours.
Oh.
Big mistake. I mean, yeah, that wasn't cool. So yeah, those are some of the biggest lessons I learned. So my favorite film is a tie. Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X.
I've actually
Spike, but it was outside of Spike, and we're not talking about Back to the Future, because that would be my third choice. Jurassic Park.
Nice. I'll go and say thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, we've got Olivia Martinez, then Wes, and Scott just jumped on, but I think we're gonna have to call this because it's.
No, do your thing. I'm here, man.
Well, Olivia, go for it.
Hi. My question was about the editing process. Because editing is a collaborative thing between the editor and the director, I was just wondering what it was like on this one.
What it was like? I'll tell you what it was like. I wanted to slip my wrist when I saw my first cut.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge. I wanted to be like Dave Chappelle when he went to South Africa. I thought I ruined my career. But my editor, Jennifer Lee, is wonderful. She did the Skeleton Twins, and she used to be an editor for Marvel Comics, and she's great at storytelling. She told me is that when I saw the first cut and I went away to see my friends, I got drunk that night. I was very depressed. I really thought I ruined my career. And she told me, like, yo, Stefon, if you didn't feel that way, something would be wrong, especially for your first feature. Something would have been wrong. So I expected you to feel that way. And since we have this right now, it only gets better from here. And the thing is, thank God it did. I had a really good editor. That's one. And I had a great team of support of people behind me. We did a lot of test shoots, a lot of test screenings. So that those helped. And Jennifer Lee, she's just smarter than me. One, I needed a woman, that's for sure, because we dealing with a character who's a very strong-willed woman. So I need a woman's perspective on this character. And Jennifer Lee was it, and and not only that, but she was way smarter than me in storytelling. So I needed someone to help me with that. Yeah, and we rewrote the movie in post. So there's 3 stages of writing. There's writing the screenplay, and then there's writing it while you're shooting, because the actors have a different interpretation than what you think is in your head. And then when you put it in post-production together, you gotta, there's so many things you have to figure out. What you thought you was gonna shoot didn't end up shooting because you ran out of time, or because you didn't get this prop that day, or the actor was sick, so you had to replace the actor. There's so many elements that would change your story around, that you kind of like, almost starting from scratch, but you only had 10 weeks for your director's cut to do so before the producers come and meddle in.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Wes.
Hey, Stefon, thanks so much for being with us. My name is Wes, and I'm an editor, and I'm kind of like a junior, senior level. So I guess kind of my question pertains to more of like a human rights issue rather than a filmmaking issue, because we're very blessed to have a lot of Black creators such as yourself, Spike, Barry Jenkins, at this time that's so important in our history to have Black voices and Black stories being told well. And so I guess my question to you is, what do you recommend for us as a collection of white kids in Utah to stand up and stand with the Black community and become more educated on different Black cultures, specifically pertaining to more like Black films? Like, what are some recommendations that you would have for us to get more involved or to be more educated, stuff like that?
I don't know how to answer that question, to be honest with you. Honestly, I don't know how to answer that question. Because I get that question a lot, and then just be like, because it takes more than just reading books. It takes more than watching movies. In the Black Lives Matter movement, I'm seeing all the protests here in New York. Most people in this crowds are white. And it's not to say that Black people don't want to go out and protest, because we just afraid of we did that enough in the '60s. We're just afraid of getting the batons get cracked on our heads again. So I think it's more, I think it starts at home more than in the streets. It's having conversations with your family, with your mom, father, brother, sister, cousins. It's having an honest conversation. It's like, yo, what can we all do here? It starts from home. Growing up on Long Island, when I go to school, I'm hearing, some of these white kids say these racist jokes, and they think we're not catching it. And it's like, where do they get these jokes from? We get it from home. So that's one part. That's one way of saying it. And also in the education system and in public schools and in college, you got to push for more Black history in your curriculums. Once again, on Long Island, we didn't have a Black history class. We had Black History Month. but not a Black history class. Now I'm hearing there are textbooks saying they weren't slaves, they were workers. I didn't learn that growing up. Now they are.
Yeah, and it's really interesting kind of just to see this attempt to just completely erase Black culture and Black history. And I just want to thank you again for really taking the time to spend with us and to really create this wonderful story that we may not have seen because of you. So thank you for sharing your voice and your experience with us, and super looking forward to what you have for us next. So thank you again, man.
No, thank you. Thank you for that question. That was a very, very good question.
Let's finish with one more. Let's do Scott.
Let's end with a lighter note.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh well, I guess that's good. I got a lighter note question. I'm Scott.
I'm messing with you, Wes. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing good. It's good to meet you. It's been really fun for me to hear your optimism and enthusiasm for film. It's very contagious, and so thank you for that. I got to remember to put those good vibes out there. Anyways, my question was, I could tell you were a huge fan of Back to the Future because there were so many little references in that movie, especially with the Michael J. Fox cameo. When I saw him, I was like, how did they get him for that movie? So that's my question. How did you get Michael J. Fox to be in this movie, and what was it like working with him?
So at first, we were going for Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh yeah.
But unfortunately, he was unavailable. So I came up, me and my producers, came up with a list of people. It's like, Bill Nye the Science Guy, is he available? Next would be Christopher Lloyd. And somebody said, whoa, hold up. Why not Michael J. Fox? They said, we can get him? They said, why not? Let's write him a letter. So we worked our asses off on the letter. And we told Spike about it. We told Netflix about it. We sent him a letter. We sent him an offer. And then we also donated, a nice sizable change to his charity. And he said yes. I was like, wow. Okay, cool. Michael J. Fox is going to come in. So we were preparing for the day. It's a big day. Everybody's stressed out, hectic. We're going to shoot this. And the next thing you know, the morning of, he could have come to set. I was like, what happened? He broke his arm.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he broke his arm. And I was like, oh, my God. So we said, all right, we got it. We got another actor, and we shot the scene without Mr. Fox. And then, went to post-production. And I wanted to be picture locked. It was like months later. That's time to picture lock. I'm tired of this movie. And Netflix said, Stefon, we can, do some reshoots. Do you want to reshoot that scene and actually bring Michael in? And I was tired of the damn movie. And plus, it's Michael J. Fox, and I didn't want to bother him, So it's like,
yeah.
Let's leave the man alone. Then Spike showed up to my edit room. He said, Stefon, sit down. I said, what's up? You do not want to fucking get Michael J. Fox? I was like, it's still the thing is Spike, he's, speak up. I was like, well, he broke his arm and everything. He said, how long ago was that? I was like, a couple of months. You thinking he ball now? I was like, maybe. What school do you go to? I was like, Morehouse, sir. All right then. Do you think we're here by now? I said, yes. Then we go get Michael J. Fox. And he got up and walked away. And lo and behold, we got Michael J. Fox on set. And he was amazing. Absolutely amazing to work with. He was very apologetic. He came prepared.
Yeah.
he was like a rock star, man. And it was good because it was just one day served to him. He came on set. He really knew his lines, but he has Parkinson's, so
Yeah.
of course you still see a little bit of that. But once the camera starts rolling, to my surprise, he was able to control it as much as possible, and then just deliver his performance.
That's so cool.
It was wild, and I was like, once the AD says, okay, call a market, and the camera said set, I was like, yo, oh yeah, action. I was like, oh, forgot to say action. I was like, this is and we revoked the scene for him, and he delivered us such a great performance. And I promise you, y'all, I did not tell him to say Great Scott. That was on him, 120%.
That was so awesome. That was the best.
That was on him, because we wrote something else to allude to Back to the Future. And once we got the take, I said, yo, Michael, we got the take, this last take, you can do whatever you want. So he went in, he said the lines, and he said, heavy. I was like, oh my God, he said that. And then he said Great Scott, and the whole room went ballistic. I was like, yo, shut the fuck up. I didn't say cut yet. And then during between takes, when I was up with him, chilling with him, I said, yo, what do you think of the script? He said, I didn't read the script. I read the letter. I did it because of the letter. I was like, yo, you're the G. And
that is so
it was wild. The letter basically said, your influence is major, and for you to play a teacher, it will be a great influence not only to help us address the theme of police brutality in our country, but also allow teachers to really recognize and help young Black kids and people of color that's in these special schools. Such as in New York, 3 top schools are Bronx Science, Brooklyn Tech, and Stuyvesant. And there's now a lot of Black people and Black kids and Latino kids in those schools. And to him have him there means a lot. And he did it off of that.
That's so cool. Thanks for sharing that story.
No doubt. No doubt.
Stefon, it's almost midnight where you are, so thank you so much for staying up late with us. And
thank you.
Thank you.
I'm humbled.
Really appreciate it.
I'm humbled by this. Yeah.
I do want to point out, I've been doing this for 5 years and recording these on YouTube, and I think you just broke our record for our longest CineSkype by a good 10 minutes, I think.
Oh, wow.
The current record holder was former NYU alum Tom DiCillo. So I don't know if you know his work, but yeah, so you're a record holder, man. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And good night.
Good night. Good night, Joe.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.